All right, we're going to do a front seat point of view on living with the land here at the Land Pavilion at Epcot. This should be really cool. Should be a lot of fun. We don't usually get on the front seat, so we'll literally have a front row perspective from the boat. And there's Susie. Yay, Susie! And Becca! Yay! All right. We load up on the boat. All right, we are boarding the boat.
For your safety, remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the boat at all times. Parents, please supervise your children and
That's okay.
refrain from
That's
flash
all right.
photography or using video
You good?
until we reach the
All right.
cruise.
There you go.
Thank you. Now,
He's
sit
okay.
back, relax, and enjoy living with the land.
Por su seguridad, permanezca sentado con sus manos y brazos,
What is
pies
the
y
date?
piernas dentro del barco y cuida a los pequeñitos. A manera de recordatorio,
April
no
16th,
tomar foto con flash y no
2019. All right, here we go. On the boat ride, living with the land. We'll see how it gets a little dark at time. We'll see how how it adjusts to the light. So it'll be a little dark.
Welcome to a voyage of discovery and awareness of the richness, the diversity, the often surprising nature of living with the land.
Oh, and it smells so good in here.
Our journey begins.
It smells like after a rainstorm.
The approaching storm may seem violent and destructive to us, but to nature, it's a new beginning in the cycle of life. Beneath the surface of the land, roots trap water from the flowing mud, extracting precious nutrients and minerals. These elements, when combined with sunlight, create the diverse living systems of our planet. One of those living systems is the rainforest, home to the most amazing concentration of life on our planet. These dense and beautiful forests cover only a tiny portion of the Earth's surface, but they contain more than half of its plant and animal species. Rainforests are also extremely rich and productive living systems, providing us with oxygen, food, medicine, and other elements essential to our lives. In the desert, nature has created a very different, but no less beautiful living system. And while this arid landscape may seem lifeless, it is very much alive. The plants and animals that have learned to survive in these harsh conditions make use of what little water they can find and avoid the scorching rays of the relentless sun. The American prairie once appeared as desolate as the desert, but over time, rainwater and nutrients gradually penetrated the hard surface of this land. Even the hooves of the mighty buffalo helped create the rich soil.
One of the fun facts is this farmhouse here is actually a replica of Walt Disney's childhood home.
Of all the forces at work on the land, humans Humans have had one of the most profound effects. The need to produce food for a growing world led to the enormous use and sometimes overuse of the land. In our search for more efficient ways to grow food, we often fail to realize the impact of our methods. Today, we're learning to live with the land, discovering better ways to grow food that will assure both human and environmental well-being.
We're learning to reduce the need for pesticides by using natural predators like ladybugs and wasps to control pests. In Japan, we're learning that by adding composted leaves and other plant material to our soil, we can reduce the need for fertilizers. In farmlands across America, we're learning that by plowing under vegetation containing natural fertilizers, we can enrich the soil without the use of chemicals. In Saudi Arabia and Mexico, we're learning to produce food on
Now this is one of the neat areas that you come into the horticulture area and the greenhouses here at Epcot, and the vegetables and fruits that are raised here are actually used in some of the restaurants here on property.
Discovered just ahead. To help us maintain these carefully controlled ecosystems and for your safety, please remain seated in your boat at all times. Welcome to our living laboratory, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce powerful harvests now and into the future. The tropics are home to the greatest
Look at the
diversity
pineapples,
of
Becca's
plants
favorite.
on the planet. Many of these,
She had
like papaya,
pineapple today on her
bananas,
pizza.
cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known around the world.
At Blaze's Pizza.
Yep.
These are just a
Blaze's
few of the
Pizza,
edible plants
Disney
that have
Springs.
been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions.
Up, and there's a hidden
Some,
Mickey in
like
the bush. Look
water
at there, in the
lily,
topiary.
thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways.
Edible flower
All parts
garden.
of this plant, even the flower petals, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking.
But Joel said there's a garden.
One day, many of these lesser-known tropical
That's right.
plants.
Here's one of the other areas where they have sturgeon. You can probably see them swimming there, sturgeon and tilapia, bass and channel catfish. And again, some of the fish that are grown in these tanks are used in the restaurants.
When we mention farming, you probably don't think of fish. But fish farming, or aquaculture, accounts for nearly half of all the seafood consumed globally. Tilapia,
Oh,
bass,
there's another
and
hidden Mickey
catfish,
in
like
the
ones you see
water
here,
hoses.
are three of the more popular crops raised by
The
fish
channel
farmers.
catfish.
The sustainable system we're using here recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. Our small fish farm
They also
produces
have
nearly 5,000
farms up here with
pounds of fish each year
more
to serve
tilapia and
restaurants
freshwater
around
shrimp.
Disney World. Innovations
See the
like
shrimp.
this one can play an important role in our efforts to produce bountiful harvests and still protect natural resources.
There's a hidden mini over there.
Yep, there's a hidden Minnie and a hidden Mickey. All right, and here we're coming into the other greenhouse.
More than 50,000 edible plant species in the world, most of us
There's
are
cotton.
only familiar with the handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains growing here, wheat, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these staples is an important goal of research around the world.
Another hidden Mickey. These are really cool winter melons. Look how they hang them instead of them growing on the ground.
Definitely on their
They
way
hang them.
up. Innovative growing techniques like
Snake
these
gourds.
increase yields while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work here is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with
at the,
beneficial
eggplant.
insects that prey on harmful pests like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. With it, we can produce over 27,000 heads of lettuce a year in this one small
Another hidden
area.
Mickey. Snapdragons and watermelons and strawberries. Look at the watermelons hanging in the air.
Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses in restaurants here at the land every year.
Vertical farming. And this is a working biotechnology lab from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's an agricultural research service. And again, integrated aquaculture. Putting nutrients in the water to then be used for growing the plants. Check that out.
The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left.
Sometimes when you come through here, the lab
combines
technicians
with
are in there working,
aquaculture.
but it's
The
late in the
fish
day. They're
provide a
probably gone
natural
home
source
now.
of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of these efforts is to produce higher yielding and better quality plants.
Okay, that's the end of the tour through the greenhouses. So I'm going to sign off on this video clip, but always remember, it was all started by a mouse.